Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chats. Marvellous Monday. Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are. If you think it's Get Rich Quick, you're in the wrong place. This is the wrong podcast. This is the wrong live for you. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Hope you're all awesome and well. Hello, good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm in my studio this morning, first time back in the studio, and making sure everything works. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. That'd be awesome. But quick shout out to those who are online already. Brad, morning, mate. Good to have you here, as always. Alex, up there in sweaty Cairns, mate. Oh, yeah. It's horrible here on the Gold Coast. I couldn't even imagine what it's like up in, can't even imagine what it's like up there. Mate, anyway, I hope you survive. Stay inside, turn the aircon on or something like that. That might be the go. Tell you what. Hey, Chatinder, morning. How are you? Great to have you here. Good to see you, folks. I forgot to change the title anyway, but we'll see. We'll do it again. There's Perrin, morning to you. Great to have you on this morning. We'll do the quick intros as we normally do. If you didn't already know, folks, Jason Witten's my name. There might be one or two of you popping by, might be new on the show. And if that's the case, welcome. Great to have you here. And if you've just joined our coaching and mentoring program, that's awesome. This catch up each morning. We do about 10 past 8 weekdays, Monday to Friday. And we take about sort of 15, 20 minutes just to sort of take bite-sized chunks of the idea of property investing, information, some knowledge, some pontification, some opinions, analyze what's going on in the media, those mad clickbaiters that love to write articles that, get us all hot under the collar. But that's what Wealth Coffee Chats is all about. Folks, been property investing myself well over 20 years, coaching property investors. Actually, it's probably 25 years been investing, coaching property investors for 20. And across Australia and New Zealand, done a few deals, help our clients buy over 10,000 property deals. That's right, folks, 10,000. It's a big number, along the way, learnt one or two things that we see works, and each morning try and share a little bit of that experience, wisdom, whatever you might call it, with you lovely people who join me on the live. So welcome along. Shout out if you're new. Great to see you. One of two of you might be in the Facebook groups. That's why your name doesn't show up, but whoever you are, awesome to have you here. Fantastic. Morning. You made it to a live. Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge, isn't it? These lives in the morning, which is a real pain with daylight savings, right? What is it? 10 past 8 here in Queensland. It's 10 past 9 in the southern states, and who knows what time it is in bloody Adelaide, Northern Territory, or Perth. Anyway, if any of you are in one of those states right now, let me know. It's half an hour, I think, different, isn't it? Anyway, big country, Australia. But let's get on with today's conversation. Yesterday, I talked about the idea that I wanted to do a bit of a deep dive, folks. Bit of a deep dive into kind of the big picture about property investing. This morning's headline up there, property investing, easy to say, not that easy to actually do successfully. Less than 1% of Australia's population own 3 or more properties. And in my world, owning 3 or more is certainly a good start. What I do know is analysing people's goals and desires, the number of bits of real estate. It's around that $3 million mark, and that kind of in the past has been averaged like 5 to 6 properties plus your own home for a really good outcome. But anyway, I'm not going to dive into that detail today, but I'm going to talk about the big picture. We're going to dive into the big picture and the chunks of it over the next, I don't know, it's going to be maybe 2 to 4 weeks, I reckon, as we go along. So stick with it. Every day we're going to progress through the bigger picture. But today I wanted to talk about the idea of, all right, let's reverse all the way up and let's talk about how, you might have already done this exercise. It might be worth doing again. And it might be the first time you're doing it. If that's the case, awesome. What happens? What do we do as investors? How do we start? And I'm not going to talk about, your belief or your desire to invest, because if you're here listening to this show, you already believe in property investing. You already have a desire to invest. So those things I'm going to take as a given, okay? If you think property investing works, you're right. If you think it does not work, you're right too. How you think is what you'll get. And at the end of the day, folks, there's plenty of people who've made truckloads of money, created wealth out of real estate, and plenty of people who have lost plenty of money and choked on real estate. What's the difference? Well, that's what I want to communicate to you about the reality of it, rather than, the story barbecue opinions or the media stupidity that they like to communicate. All right, so let's dive into that. We're going to talk about, if you've got desire, you believe you want to invest in real estate, how does it work? Where do I start? We're going to talk about the 4 pieces of this idea today, big picture as we go. Right, first things first, what do they say? Confucius say, morning, Chris, good to see you, mate. Good to see you. There he is, Chris in the house. Confucius say, those who aim at nothing are sure to hit it, right? Which is, basically a simple way of saying, if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to bloody get there. Well, what's the other saying? Anyway, if you don't care where you're going, any direction will do, right? Okay, anyway, enough pontifications, Jason. What do we do, folks? What do we need to do? Oh, my little pen's getting a little bit funny here. Hang on. What do we need to do? We need to put that over the top. Oh, well. Anyway, some challenges with technology this morning. I should have worked it out. But what do we need to do? First things first, in this game of property investing, or wanting to be a property investor, or even checking in on where you are, morning, Andrew, is to find out where you are right now. If you want to go, if I'm standing here in the Gold Coast and I want to go to Cairns because I want to go and visit my mate Alex up there in Cairns, well, it's pretty important to understand where I am, so I can work out which way to go, right? So where are you now? 3 pieces of the puzzle. And to be honest, you should be doing this every 6 months or every 12 months. This is not only for those who are starting out, but this is for you, for me. I just did it at the beginning of this year. All right, I sat down with my partner, Shay, and we said, all right, where are we now? Where are we now? There's 3 things you've got to ask yourself as this beginning question. Where are you now? What do you guys think? Chuck it in the chat for me. Play along. It's always good to get involved. What are the 3 things that you've got to analyze literally every 6 to 12 months, whether you're beginning or whether you're 20 years in? There's 3 major categories you've got to understand on where you're at, the quality of it, the capacity of it, and so on. Put it in the chat if you think you might have a bit of a guess. There's 3 major pieces that you've got to ask and analyze each time you want to check in. All right, let's do this. Number one, the most important thing is your financial capacity. All right, your financial capacity. Number 1, do you have the dollars? And what are the financial capacity really at the end of the day? The 2 main things is income and deposits, right? Where are you at? And in finance terms, borrowing money, finance terms means your capacity to borrow and service loans and the money you've got to put in as a deposit for you to get that loan, right? At all times, and I've done a few videos on this before, it's I talk about the equity lock, but, equity lock is the action of locking in gains on your real estate using lending. But the first thing is first, if you haven't done this in the last 6 months, folks, if you haven't done this in the last 6 months, you should do it now. Those who are starting out, usually it's a function of talking to your finance broker and saying, hey, I've got a job, I might have a home, I think I've got equity, what's the situation? Where am I at? Your financial capacity, income and deposits. If you are already investing, if you've got some properties already, well, you might need to check in on those valuations. You might need to check in on those rents, because I can tell you right now, folks, the rents are going crazy. And if you haven't put your rents up in the last 12 months, check in on that. That's income. If you haven't checked in on your valuations, that's at the end of the day, deposits or capital available for investing. What's your financial capacity? Number one, always know your financial capacity. Okay. Always know your financial capacity. Number two, who thinks they might know what that is? Chuck that in the chat for me. If you think you might know what it is, like you're checking on your financial capacity. And this one for me is an important one. You check in on your level of knowledge. Is that how you spell it? Knowledge. You're checking on your level of knowledge of where you are now, because you need to understand and really be honest with yourself. If you've got a gap between where you are now, your understanding of, hey, I'm here, but I want to go there. I'll give you a prime example I see for property investors often. A reasonable portion, maybe 5 to 10% of property investors, as they progress, as they get more experience, and as they create some wealth, they have a look at properties, buy and hold strategies, and go, oh, you know what I think? I'd love to now change it up a little. I'd like to accelerate a little, and I'd like to put in place some cash flow strategies. I call them trading strategies. The buy and hold strategies are often the simplest and easiest to start with and learn from. And now a trading strategy. What does a trading strategy mean? Well, I want to buy some real estate. I want to do something to it, and I want to sell it for a profit. You might buy and sell a renovation. You might buy and sell what we call a spec home, like a house and land package, and you design it well for a profit. You might decide you want to be, start developing. All right. Now, if that's where you are, hey, I've got financial capacity and I want to do something else, then the knowledge, you really got to be honest with yourself about knowledge. And if you're starting out, or if you're here right now, then if that's what you want to do you have the knowledge to do that? And check in on that. You might need to get some more dollars and cents. You might need to get some more understanding. And the third big one for me, for you, is probably the most important, because this stuff is kind of about you. But really, at the end of the day, it's not a Frank Sinatra song, folks. It's not a Frank. I did it my way, by myself, or whatever. There's another song. Anyway, My Way or the Highway, Frank Sinatra. Is that right? No, I'm stuffing it up this morning. Haven't had enough coffee. It's not an individual sport, folks. It's not an individual. You cannot do this by yourself, right? There is too much to know, too much to do. You got to have an absolutely cracking team. You've got to have an absolutely cracking team around you. And something that we have coined just recently, you've got to have a 6-star team. A 6-star team. Yeah, my way by. Yeah, there you go, Perrin. Thanks for The little heads up on that one. So, a 6-star team, a team of people who are not only experienced in what you're trying to do, they've got some, often they need some licensing and some oversight by some professional bodies, because there's some things that have to happen and they have to play by some rules, and some people who are not only experienced but maybe licensed, but also are capable of coaching and mentoring. And, I'm going to talk about that in the coming days about, coach, mentor, advisor, and why they're three different things. And do you need all three of those things in every 6-star team member? Question mark. Do you? Have a think about that as we go. And the answer might surprise you, folks, might surprise you. So where are you now? What's your financial capacity? If you haven't checked your financial capacity capability, then you should, whether you're starting out or you're checking in for the start of the year and you're 20 years into your investing career. Knowledge, where you are now and where you want to go. All right, where do you want to go? Do you have the knowledge and understanding to help yourself navigate that way? And more importantly, be capable of having conversations with your 6-star team and them not pulling the wool over your eyes or pointing you in a direction that you're not ready for or not capable of. Okay, it's important to have that understanding as we go. All right, 6-star team. So those are the three things. Where are you now? All right, check in on that. That's what you've got to do. And two other things, and we might sort of leave these, or three other things, leave these for the coming days. Where do you want to be? All right, we'll check in on where do you want to be tomorrow, because it's a big question. And where do you want to be then in reality gives you the kind of the gap. So I'm here. I want to be over there, and that might be, a certain number of things. It might be some dollars, it might be some time, it might be whatever. And what's it going to take? What's it going to take to cross that gap? What's it going to take to for you to get to this point here, whatever it is? And this is the time, the investment, the resources, the commitment, those things. And then what's holding you back right now, and we go make a plan to solve those things as we go. So hopefully that made sense this morning. Where are you right now? If you haven't checked in, maybe take some time this week to check in. Where's your financial capacity? Knowledge, do you need to get a bit more knowledge? On Monday, we've got a few thousand people in our mentoring and coaching program, but only about 400 showed up to our mentoring night to find out from the best property economist in Australia where the market's at. Knowledge, I'm not going to invest this year. I will invest this year. Well, do you have the knowledge? Do you have the up-to-date data and info about that? Like, let's go, team. Come on. If you didn't see it, it's coming out on the replay, folks. Dr. Andrew dives deep into the data and info and does a little prediction for over an hour. So it's really good stuff, folks. So get hold of that. Anyway, there you go. That's it from me this morning. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted. Hopefully that made sense this morning. We're going to take some time to sort of peel back bit by bit how we create strategy, how we look at the investing tactics, and a bunch of other good things over this next couple of weeks, folks. So thanks for joining me this morning. Fantastic to have you here, as always. If there's something that you might want me to comment about, have a chat about, whatever, then let me know in the comments, folks. And I always check the lives afterwards and see if there's anything that I'm missing. But other than that, join me again tomorrow for another one, folks. That's it. Done and dusted from me. Fabulous to have you here. Thanks for joining me. And let's hang out tomorrow. Thanks, Alex. You too, mate. Till then, folks, remember, there's a couple of sayings around here. Buy well, don't sell. This thing's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes time to build your property portfolio, folks. Yeah, listen, don't wait around, but don't be in a rush. Do it with some pep in your step, but not with a rush. Anyway, there you go. All right, folks, that's it. I'm just rabbiting on now. So I'll see you tomorrow. Join me then. Till then, folks, take care. Bye for now.